Hi, and welcome once again to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Chris Gorski.
Today is March 18th, and today we have an article about animals that are a lot like us.
That's right. We're talking about the chimpanzees, or they're often called chimps. These are not monkeys. They are more intelligent. They are also incredibly strong. If you've ever seen a chimpanzee with alopecia, that's a skin disease where their fur kind of falls off. They are incredibly powerful creatures. We often think of them as playful monkeys, happy in trees, banana. These guys are incredibly strong. You cannot believe that a relative of ours can be as strong and muscular as they are.
And they are very mischievous. They are not easy to train. Yeah, they get into a lot of trouble.
They almost approach the uncanny valley where they're so much like us that they're almost creepy. I like them, but I understand the creepy argument that people sometimes present when discussing chimpanzees.
Yep. Okay, our title today is Study Finds Chimps Judge Clues to Make Decisions. Now, I have to say right at the outset that reading this and then also reading the article, I said, duh. The thing is, I make this point very often whenever we are supposedly amazed by something that animals can do. Like they find out that octopuses are actually intelligent. Right. I go, duh.
Yeah.
Most creatures are actually very intelligent or they would not have survived. I read a book called The Intelligence of Every Living Being.
Right.
And the thing is, either you have strong instincts that guide your behavior, and that is a kind of intelligence in itself, or you have cognitive thinking capabilities, much like humans, so you can figure things out and then use those abilities to survive. Animals are very smart. You just have to interact with any animal whatsoever, from insects to baboons. You know animals are smart. Why are they surprised at something like this? You can observe it in your own dog or cat.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And oftentimes, what I often walk away from these studies is it was really the humans that needed to devise a test to tease out the intelligence. Really, it was more incumbent upon the humans. The information was always there, but did the humans figure out a test that could accurately demonstrate the behavior that we can easily observe? You just need a way of isolating the variables. And that's often, I think, more of a human problem than the animal problem.
Yes.
It's like, of course, right? Of course they could do this. Everybody knows it. But I mean, I suppose the argument exists, well, it could be something else. But come on, man. We knew, when you read this, you're like, oh, we knew chimps can do that. But either way, I'm very happy that these studies continue to come out because you and I very much come from that no duh perspective.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure everybody's convinced of that. And so if someone reads this and say, wow, I guess animals are more intelligent and maybe we'll treat them compassion and treat them more lovingly than unfortunately many times they are treated, then great, wonderful. I'm happy that we're getting good results out of this.
Now, wait a minute. We don't treat them kind because they are intelligent. Even if they're not intelligent, we should still be kind.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's an excellent point, and I agree with you, and certainly wasn't my intention to say, well, if it's dumb, just who cares?
That's right. But I know, but a lot of humans use that logic to say, oh, maybe I'll stop eating octopus now because they're smart. Well, now, if we are going to do responsible research into how smart every single animal is, we're not going to eat any of them.
Yeah, and maybe that ignorance that permeated science towards animals was intentional, right?
It was used to justify, number one, eating animals and making them suffer the way we do in like slaughterhouses and in small pens and everything. And also, it was an ego thing. We humans had this need, this really crazy, ridiculous need to have the idea that we are better than all creatures.
Yeah.
Why do you have this need? Why do you need to feel better? I mean, you are really narrow-minded and insecure if you need to prove that you're smarter than a Doberman Pinscher, you know?
Yeah.
Why?
And to stack up, well, the skills I have are better than the skills you have. I don't know. It's like these animals are really good at being what they are. Can you do what they do?
Exactly.
And can you do it without your technology? No. So chill out.
Our title again is Study Finds Chimps Judge Clues to Make Decisions. So listen again. Study finds chimps judge clues to make decisions. Wow, that is a really dense sentence. Let's just jump into our article. A new study suggests that chimpanzees can weigh evidence and make rational judgments. In the experiment, researchers placed 2 boxes in front of the chimpanzees. One box was set up to give strong evidence, such as letting the chimpanzees actually see food inside. The other was designed to provide weak evidence, like producing a rattling sound when it was shaken. The chimps consistently chose the box with strong evidence, even when the weaker clue appeared first. This indicated that they were not fooled by the order of presentation.
In another trial where no strong evidence was available, the chimps still chose the box with weak auditory clues rather than a box with no information at all. This behavior suggests they were not guessing but using logical reasoning to select the better supported option.
The chimps could also recognize when strong evidence had lost its persuasive power and adjust their choices accordingly. At first, they selected the box that visually appeared to contain food. However, after the researchers revealed that the food was just a picture of an apple, the chimps switched to the other box, guided by the rattling sound inside.
The study has drawn attention in the field of animal cognition. The chimp's ability to judge evidence and revise decisions implies a higher level of thinking than previously assumed. Researchers believe these skills could have an origin in the shared ancestor of modern primates. This raises the possibility that related species could also show similar reasoning, which could be explored in future studies. Sometimes I feel that. I understand the need to tease out the variable. And what I mean by this is that we need to conclusively demonstrate, if we want to state something scientifically, we want strong, clear evidence that says it is this thing, maybe not that thing. We want it to be very clear. And that means you need to develop tests that can separate it's A, not B or C. And that can be very challenging.
Now, we're getting back to chimpanzees and animals. They are smart. Do we need to do studies like this to prove it? Well, I guess the scientific method says, you choose a procedure, you map out a procedure, you follow it. Is it reproducible? If somebody does the same thing, do they get the same results? That's how the scientific method works. And that's why they did it. They needed to prove it. Okay, so we're going to get into our article now. A new study suggests that chimpanzees can weigh evidence and make rational judgments. That's our first sentence. So this is a new study, and they're talking about chimpanzees. This is a primate that's quite close to human. They can see evidence, think about it, and compare the two things, and then make a good decision on that basis. That's basically what this sentence means. In the experiment, researchers placed 2 boxes in front of the chimpanzees. That's very straightforward. They have 2 boxes prepared ahead of time, put them in front of the chimpanzees. One box was set up to give strong evidence, such as letting the chimpanzees actually see food inside. Okay, you've got a box, and maybe you've cut a little window in it, put some cellophane over it. The chimpanzees can see that there is food inside. The other was designed to provide weak evidence, like producing a rattling sound when it was shaken. So you can see there's food inside one. And then the second one, you can't see it because it doesn't have a window, so you shake it and you go, oh, something is rattling around. There must be something in there. Well, of the two, as a human, I would just pick the one with food. I can see if it's food I like.
Yeah, I think so. And chimps, they do have a better developed sense of smell than humans. I wonder if, depending on the food, could they smell it? I also think that could be a factor.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the food were inside, but it were secured, but you could hear a rattle, right? Could they smell it, right? Could you influence it? So I might personally want to tweak this more. And if I wanted to be really grumpy about it, I'm sure I could attack this study, not to say it's not a good study, but just to isolate those variables even further. Are we sure it's this thing?
Your point about smell is really well taken. That's an excellent point because I haven't read anything about smell, and that will definitely affect the outcome. The chimps consistently chose the box with strong evidence even when the weaker clue appeared first. So they took the box that could be shaken, they put it out first, and then they put out the second box where you could see there was food inside. Even under those conditions, it would seem like a dog, any animal, would choose the one where they can see what's inside. But like you say, smell is something they don't mention.
I like that they showed them the rattling box first, too. It's like, okay, here's this. And you're like, oh, evidence of food inside. But wait, there's more, right? And then the second box is revealed, and then they can consistently say, okay, it's the second one. But when it's something as obvious as you can actually see the food inside, maybe you're not convinced. So I like that they continue on with this trial in later experiments.
That's true. That point is also well taken. This indicated that they were not fooled by the order of presentation, which means they did not just automatically take the first box. So they apparently could only open one of them, so they had to choose between two. And if it was the first one, they may not pick the first one if the second one was actually a little more attractive.
Do you know what the Monty Hall problem is?
Yes.
This made me think of the Monty Hall problem.
The doors.
We do not have the time to discuss it here, but if you want to, you can look up the Monty Hall problem, M-O-N-T-Y space Hall, H-A-L-L, and it's from a famous TV show, and it talks about probabilities, and it's very counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense initially. If you think about it, it does, and it kind of made me think about it here. It's a lot tougher than, hey, look, there's food in this box. Do you want it?
That's right. It's a mathematical problem, and it's quite sophisticated. That's right. So if you have time, you want to get off on a tangent, something that's very, very interesting, look up the Monty Hall problem. Okay, second paragraph.
In another trial where no strong evidence was available, the chimps still chose the box with weak auditory clues rather than a box with no information at all.
Okay, that makes the study's premise a little stronger.
Right.
So they have two boxes to pick from. There's no indication in one of the boxes what's inside, but one of them shakes. That means there must be something in there. I'm taking that one.
Let's look at the word clue very briefly. This is a very old English word, and it literally means a ball of string.
And it used to be spelled C-L-E-W, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so a clue can be unwound and you can follow a path. You can kind of, if you lay it in a maze like a labyrinth, probably you know these famous stories, you can find your way out. And that's a clue. It suggests a way for you to arrive at a correct answer.
Another good word to watch out for is auditory. That means something we can hear.
Our next sentence, this behavior suggests they were not guessing, but using logical reasoning to select the better supported option.
Okay, I will accept that.
There's our rational judgment that we had in the very first sentence here. Rational judgments and logical reasoning. Two good phrases.
Right, so they're comparing two things and taking the one that they think is more likely to have food. The chimps could also recognize when strong evidence had lost its persuasive power and adjust their choices accordingly. That will be explained in the next sentence. At first, they selected the box that visually appeared to contain food. All right, so we've got a couple steps in this process. So they see food in the first box, or it seems to contain food. However, after the researchers revealed that the food, in quotes, was just a picture of an apple, the chimps switched to the other box, guided by the rattling sound inside. So if you see it's just a picture, man, that's not very nutritious or tasty. So, compared to that, the other one must be better.
All right, so I see the process in which we're going here. So number one, it's obvious. Hey, there's food. Do you want it? Okay. Number two, quiet box, rattling box. Well, the food is maybe in the rattling box. And now, hey, look, we got food. Just kidding. It's a piece of paper. Do you want the box with rattling? Yeah, that's what I want to go with. I could see the path they're on here. Okay, So let's continue on to our final paragraph here. The study has drawn attention in the field of animal cognition.
Cognition just means thinking with your conscious brain, your forebrain.
The chimp's ability to judge evidence and revise decisions implies a higher level of thinking than previously assumed.
There's something in there that kind of made me smile. And that a lot of humans are really not good at revising decisions because once they've made a decision, it becomes a matter of ego and pride. They will not change no matter what. And I'm not talking about politics.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns is the phrase you'll often hear. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not going to switch. This is what I've decided, and that's how it's going to be. When we revise, we can adjust. We learn that word in paragraph 3. If you don't know revise, you probably know adjust. Draw a little arrow. I love writing in my magazine. For me, it really helps me remember things that I learned on a previous page, and I feel so satisfied when I get to see that new word I learned again a little bit later. So make sure you're making notes in your magazine.
And this phrase is really useful, than previously assumed, because in life we are constantly adjusting and changing our assumptions about the world. We see something, we think it's this. Oh, we see it's a picture and not real food. Oh, I have to revise my whole understanding of what I'm seeing. So than previously assumed means compared to what you thought before, things are different. In this case, that they believe that chimps have a higher level of thinking than you thought before, than previously assumed.
Okay, let's continue here. Researchers believe these skills could have an origin in the shared ancestor of modern primates.
Now, that is very easy to accept, except I would take it back further. I think it probably was similar to the animals that came before the primates.
Right. There's unfortunately no way to test that, so
Right
this is
now.
the best sentence that you could support. Your ancestor are your family born before your grandparents. And I often wonder if I met my ancestors, would I want to hang out with them?
I think about that one too.
Do you really?
I do, because people are so into genealogy now. They want to go back, way back, and find out who their ancestors were. And I have actually done some work on it when I went to Germany. I got records on where my grandmother was born, in northern Germany, close to where I was living. And I was thinking of all these ancestors I have that are still in Europe. If you go really much further back and then you see these pictures of early man, I think, do I really want to hang out with this person, like you said?
Yeah, when I think about what I know about people from the past, I'm like, I probably wouldn't want to hang out with them. Now I'm okay. I'm happy to read about their story, but
they may not want to hang out with you either.
touche.
Our last sentence.
Okay, our final sentence today. This raises the possibility that related species could also show similar reasoning, which could be explored in future studies.
Like we've been talking about all along, I hope they do future studies, but I hope they go earlier than primates. They go down to smaller animals, which can be very, very smart.
If you could visit your past ancestors or see the future of primates, I probably would want to see the future of primates. They are demonstrating some very interesting behaviors in the wild, including ritualistic practices and including using medicine. It's kind of unbelievable what primates may end up doing in the future if humans don't wipe us all ourselves out first.
But you think of dogs eating grass when they need to throw up, so it's not unknown. That's all we have time for today. Please tune in next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.